Well, hello. I want to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This week, some more of those German pens that I had last week are still here, but we have some new surprises. So let's dive into the pens. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old, and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, maybe something will strike your fancy here, and maybe you can help me out with Bach nibs a little. So let's dive into them. So the pens I'm using this week are, from left to right, a Gaya Boy, which is a student pen, a Daiso, which I did my first impressions this week, Montblanc Monte Rosa, Matador 902, and a Adlatus 302, PenBBS 266. Yeah, I'm trying to get through my second fill on these pens so I can get down to doing some reviews. Picasso Greek Irene, a AG Spalding and Brothers, which I have to address that one a little bit. Wingsung 698, and a Senator 0140. The Senator is my special feature this week. So those are the pens and inks that I'm using this week, or the pens I'm using this week. I'll show you how they write, as always, in this Bomo art journal. Before I do that, I just thought I'd show you a postcard that I got with a pen that I ordered. Has absolutely nothing to do with the pen other than being made in the same country. But, you know, that sure looks like Italian to me. So, yeah, I got it from yesteryear's fountain pen. The pen in question will appear in a first impressions pretty soon. We'll see if I can panic any of my Italian viewers. A little further away so you can see it. Doggone. So yeah, not inked up, but I thought I'd whet your appetite. Cool looking button filler pen. I'm not sure what the nib is. I feel like it might actually be steel, but guess we'll find out. A little more information, and I will open this up on the day of the first impression so you can see how it writes, or see what's in it. So look for that upcoming one of these days pretty soon. I just have to get that first impression filmed. Alright, so let's dive into the pens I'm doing for real. Alright, my first pen is a Gaya Boy. This is a student pen from Germany. You can see Gaya Boy, whoops, come on, written on the side here. Not much else, you know, here it's a piston filler. You can't really see it, but there's a nice ink window there. The nib, I'm strongly inclined toward a steel nib. And the feed has an interesting, oh, and somehow it's been pushed already. A little switch here that if you push it, it's supposed to supply you with more ink when it's almost out. So let's see how it writes. I'm trying to remember the nib size. Is this a fine? What did I write? Oh, I didn't write a nib size. Maybe it didn't have one. The ink is kind of interesting. I did not know Parker made this, so I'm wondering if it's an older bottle. It's Parker Quink. And I have to say, for a steel nib, this is quite a flexible nib. But anyway, Parker Quink, permanent green. And I have to say, that is a darn attractive green. So, Parker, if it's not in manufacture now, bring it back, because I like it. My next pen, I did a first impression this week. This is a Daiso. Very discount brand. One of my viewers did a calculation that if you buy a box of 20 of these, you can get them for 84 cents each. Nothing too amazing. Steel nib. But I was actually rather pleased by how it writes. I did notice a crack in the collar, but it doesn't seem to impair its function. And after sitting overnight and hasn't been used in probably 24 hours, writing just fine. Is it one of those pens that you rave about? No, probably not. But I'm pleased with how it's writing. It's actually a nice pen and definitely punches way above 84 cents. Stipula, you could take a lesson. This is a Montblanc Monte Rosa. This is I guess it was sort of a student pen, but most student pens don't come with gold nibs, so maybe it's your rich students. So, Montblanc. And I'm trying to use no pressure here. But they say they claim it's an extra fine, at least on the website where I purchased it. I'm wondering if they saw something written deep inside the nib, maybe. The ink is Kuratake Ryuno Black, which is a sort of special edition color. And I know I had the same comments about it, the nib width, the last time I wrote with it. It just does not seem like an extra fine. A really broad fine, possibly I could get talked into. Medium I could get talked into. Broad I could get talked into. I'm not seeing extra fine. You know, the thin bits on this Gaya Boy I'd call maybe a fine or extra fine. Not going to complain though. It's a wonderful, wonderful writer. I enjoy writing with it. So, whatever it is, I'll take it. This next pen is a Matador 902. Also an extra fine. This one, at least there's some evidence for why it's called an extra fine. Says so right there. Also, apparently someone snacked on it a bit. This has, now you can't quite see it yet. I can when I hold it up to the light. There's a nice spirally inkwind on it. So maybe when it gets a little emptier, or when I do the review, I'll just twirl it while it's empty. Looks like I had a little bit of fur stuck in it. It's an extra fine nib. And Callifolio Bordeaux. Which is all in all a very attractive ink. My next pen is I'm trying to learn more about this brand. I guess for a while there they were pretty big. Adlatus. German brand, 302. And then here on the piston turning knob, FS for fine steno. Yes, it's a stenographer's nib, which another thing I'm still working on, I've almost got it, is getting the nib writing smoothly. The tines are not quite perfectly aligned. So Adlatus 302. Fine steno. The ink in it, It's barely distinguishable from the black. And that's actually was my feeling on all 4 of these. There were 4 inks of this brand, and you know, I like them, but I don't see myself buying any more because they all look alike so far. I mean, there's subtle differences. But nothing real big. They're, I don't know, interesting inks in pretty bottles. Back for yet more PenBBS 266. As somebody pointed out, it may have said 308 on the box. But it says 266 here. Oh, you can see all my lights reflecting in it. Got to do a video one of these days when I finish cleaning down here, where I share how I light this and film all these. This is a new ink for me. Years and years ago, back before they had this current selection, I had purchased one Monteverde ink. I liked it, but I wasn't particularly inspired by their colors. But they've come out with a lot more colors, and this is one I've found attractive. Monteverde Canyon Rust. Just kind of an attractive orangish brown. Is that a good way to describe it? Now this pen I bought totally for the novelty, and it was cheap. I have no other pen with a tulip shaped cap, or with such a pretty ruby. So it's a Picasso Greek Irene. With an extra fine nib. And as you can probably see, it's hooded. Kind of a, you know, skinny up here, but it's actually, for a metal pen, fairly comfortable to hold. Ink in it, you can probably smell it. De Atramentis. You know, the furnace is kicking in, but I'm just going to power through it because I'm almost done here. Red roses. I forgot to turn it off. And it's getting colder outside, so it's coming on more often now. And when you film in the basement, that's a hazard of North Dakota pen filming. One of those scented inks. You know, it's a nice red color, and not an amazing color, but the smell's kind of cool. Almost there. A.G. Spalding and Brothers. Now, I made an offhand remark when I originally reviewed it, and another remark back when or last week when this appeared in Pens in Use, about it being a baseball company or sporting goods or something. So I fact-checked myself. I don't know if there is a connection or not. There is a company called Spalding that does sporting goods and stuff. Apparently this is like a fashion type of store. And their website was all in Italian. So, I don't know, maybe there's more to this pen than meets the eye. Maybe it's not such a weird combination after all. It's a very unique pen, even so. And I find it a very attractive pen and nice writer. I told you I don't do ampersands by hand very well. Medium nib. And the ink in it is Noodlers. Ottoman Azure, or Azure. I used to work for somebody whose last name was spelled like that, and he pronounced it Azure. But I always see that and I want to say Azure, so I'm never sure now what to do. And I've looked it up and then I forget. Okay, still my daily writer because it's not empty yet. My Wingsung 698, which is, it was actually made it in my top 10 most recommended list this year. Why? Because it's reliable, it writes well, and has some character when it writes. And it's just a very well-made pen. The ink in it is Noodler's Black. So this has been a handy pen for addressing envelopes and such. This ink won't run. So they claim anyway. And finally, a Senator. And this is one of the few that I actually know its model number. It's a Senator 0140. Now let's watch it write. This is supposedly an extra fine, which with no pressure, I believe it. The ink in it is a very attractive private reserve. Shorline gold. I almost see myself putting that ink into like my Visconti Homo Sapiens or my Visconti Mirage, because I don't know, it just seems like it would fit those pens because it's just kind of that color. Actually, this Monteverde Canyon Rust I'm getting the same feeling about. But anyway, I want to bring you the nib to your attention here. There might be some condensation here because it's been in my basement, and I just turned the furnace on when I came home, which is why it wants to run, and I should have just left it off, but that failed too. Anyway, I know it's not lit the best, but that sure looks like a Bach nib to me. Yeah, let's see if that works. Better. Sure looks like a Bach nib to me. Now I bring up the Bach nib because last week I was going to do an IGTV episode, a new one for the new year, where I was going to compare some pens with what look like Bach nibs. And then events got in the way. But I have here a Pencala with a Bach nib, the Senator you just saw with a Bach nib, a Reform with a Bach nib, and a Cora with a Bach nib. The Senator was my discovery tonight as I set about to film this episode. So, I think it was maybe a good thing I didn't get that video filmed. So tonight, after I get done filming this, I'm going to turn that camera vertical, and I'm going to film an episode of IGTV about those Bach nibs. Now, I have decided, I don't normally do this, but let's go with Sunday. Sunday I'm going to upload 2 videos to show what I'm doing with IGTV. One of them is just kind of a compendium of 4 IGTV videos, but I think this content about these 4 pens specifically will be of interest to you, so I'm going to upload that one separately. And I know I'm going to get the hate about, don't do vertical, turn the camera, you know. It's an IGTV thing, all their videos have to be vertical, so it's going to be vertical. But if you can live with that, Look forward to that sometime on Sunday. Just kind of a bonus video for no reason whatsoever. Maybe because I haven't been doing driving videos lately. But as my batch filming is getting ahead, I'm going to have more time to do that. I decided I'm going to batch film the IGTV too. And the only thing I'm not going to batch film are these, because these I really can't. But that's okay. These keep me in practice and they keep me talking to you. So that's all good. So, if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens, both new and old, and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, maybe you'd like to tell me about Bach nibs. Are they still like that? Maybe you have some experience with Bach nibs, or perhaps one of the other pens I discussed tonight struck a fancy. In any case, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Well, thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.